Friends, I welcome you to my channel. Before listening to this story, I will ask you to like and subscribe. It is not difficult for you, but it is pleasant for me. And we're starting. The movie Chick, which my wife Katie and I have been watching for the last 2 hours, is finally over. I drank too much beer, but she seemed to like it when I sat down next to her. I just don't get it, John. How could a husband be so stubborn that he couldn't understand and forgive his wife for such a small oversight? What do you mean? It wasn't a small thing. For God's sake, she cheated on him. Any wife who cheats on her husband deserves whatever punishment she gets. This is unacceptable in any situation. It's terrible and cruel, John. A loving husband would be more flexible. He would have understood that just because she had lost her way did not mean that she did not love him. It means that her feelings for him are less than they should be. A wife who cheats on her husband is actually saying that she does not respect him and has no remorse for humiliating him, even if it does not show on his face. What if that's not her intention? It doesn't matter what her intentions are, Katie. The important thing is that she did it, and the result is inevitable. That's bullshit, John. I can't believe you're so old-fashioned. All these things can be discussed and resolved. There is never a need for revenge on the part of the husband. This applies only if the wife confesses to cheating before her husband catches her. If he finds out about it before she tells him, she's doomed. If she denies it after she is caught, she should be burned at the stake. Most husbands are so oblivious to what their wives are doing that damn few of them ever get caught. This is a stupid discussion. I'm going to get ready for bed. I'll be there in a few minutes. Katie and I spent most of the day at markets and yard sales. I didn't mind carrying her around with me every weekend because I could usually find something to look at while she was digging up the coasters. She collected old cast-iron coasters. The uglier they looked, the more she wanted them. We both worked and saved as much money as we could for our first home. Of course, it had to have a large kitchen with enough wall space for at least 100 kitchen stoves. We've only been married for 6 years, but we were together for several years before that. She was short and a little stocky. I often teased her about the fact that she has hips for childbirth. We planned to have several children after we moved into a new house. Right now, all we needed was enough money for an 80% discount. I was finishing an article in a magazine, but I couldn't help thinking about our conversation that had just taken place. Katie seemed to be too defensive about the topic of cheating. This has never been mentioned before. In fact, I had never even considered this possibility, but now it has caught my attention. Most of the guys I work with keep their wives on a short leash. I have no control over Katie at all. I have always trusted her and have never doubted her loyalty. I never thought of cheating on her and hoped she felt the same way about me. Anyway, I figured it wouldn't hurt to do some digging. I was sure I wouldn't find anything, but to be sure, I'll take a look. I worked from 6 to 4 and Katie worked from 8 to 6. It gave me a little time to sort things out. The next morning, I ran away from work around 9 and popped into the apartment. I didn't know what I was looking for, but it was starting to seem funny. It's like a secret scavenger hunt. I didn't have a chance to start because I smelled a strange sweet smell as soon as I walked through the door. It was an air freshener, a lot of freshener. I wandered around sniffing, trying to figure out what was going on. I ended up by the fireplace in the living room. Katie must have burned something in the fireplace and was trying to muffle the smell of burning with an air freshener in the room. The bottom of the hearth was clean and looked as if it had just been swept. The black soot on the bricks was still wet. If she burned and cleaned something, there must be leftovers somewhere. I thought if she was smart, she would take it with her to work. She wasn't smart. There was a plastic paper basket gasket in the trash can in the garage. I spread the newspapers on the kitchen table and emptied the contents of the bag. It was mostly just black ash, but there were small pieces of paper and a few photos mixed in. I would like to say that I managed to restore some scraps into something readable, but it was not destined to come true. All I really knew was that she decided it was important to burn some old papers and photographs so that I wouldn't find out about it. It meant that something was going on that she didn't want me to know about. After the conversation last night, I started to worry. My whole life was dedicated to Katie and the future we were building together. Now it seems that I was a little careless in observing what was happening around me. She wasn't honest with me in some aspects of her life. I knew very little about her work or her workmates. I never thought I needed to know that. Well, now she's got my attention. On my way to work, I stopped by the radio shop and bought 3 digital audio recorders with voice activation and additional batteries. The cellular office was more than happy to provide me with call prints for the last 3 months from both of our wireless devices. I explained that the IRS is conducting an audit and we need information to verify the deductions. I asked for both phones so that it wouldn't seem suspicious, but after checking mine, I threw it into the shredder at work. For the first time since I got married, I started thinking badly about my wife. I didn't like it, but I just assumed. I got home a few hours before Katie and managed to set up the video recorders in the living room, bedroom, and kitchen. I had to set up the kitchen so that it wouldn't record the operation of the refrigerator. I turned them on every time I left for work in the morning. Dinner was ready when Katie got home. "Hi, honey. I hope chili will do." "It sounds good if it's not too spicy." About the middle of the meal, I started trying. "Hey, when I got home, the house stank like hell. It was a cross between lilac and burnt rubber." "What did you burn in the fireplace before you left for work?" She was caught. She had tried to hide the fact that she had burned things, but now it was out in the open. "Oh, it's nothing special. Just some old papers and school supplies." "Why the hell did you burn them? Why didn't you just throw them in the trash or put them through a shredder? From the way you cleaned the fireplace, it looked like you were preparing for the arrival of the forensics." "I don't know. Why is this so important?" "Katie, it seems very strange to me that you woke up this morning, got ready for work, burned a bunch of old school papers, and then cleaned up everything so that it looked like it never happened. Do you blame me for being suspicious? It also didn't look like schoolwork, but letters and photographs." "What the hell did you do? Did you go through the trash and dig up this junk just to accuse me of something?" "Yes." "Fuck you, asshole. You're doing the dishes. I'm going to take a shower, go to bed, and read. You can sleep on the couch." Katie had never talked to me like that before, but on the other hand, I had never accused her of anything before. A few seconds later, the shower turned on. I took her cell phone out of her purse and copied all the speed dial numbers, all outgoing calls, all incoming calls, and all messages. It took only a few minutes to scan her address book into a computer file. I didn't mind sleeping on the couch, but the living room still smelled of lilac and burning. I had a lot of free time at work, so I took the day off. I turned on the tape recorders and left the house at the usual time, but went to Danny's instead. I returned home a little after 8. Katie made one phone call. "I have some problems at home." "No, nothing like that. He just suspects that something is going on but has no idea what it is. He's just annoying and really starting to piss me off." Okay. I think I can do it. Maybe on Friday. See you." I have no idea who the mysterious person on the other end of the line was, but I thought I'd find out soon. I wonder what was supposed to happen on Friday. I spent the morning in the library going through her phone calls. I could have done it at home, but the reverse phone directory in the library was better than online and faster. Of course, it didn't cost anything for mobile phones. I was able to exclude most of the numbers because I knew them or could relate them to her address book. The TR number stood out in particular. It was on her speed dial and in her address book. The address book also included a landline phone number, which turned out to belong to Tom Rollins. Katie worked with him at Generex, and I actually met him a few times. The last time was about 10 days ago at a corporate event. He and Katie had been close all evening, and I remembered that I didn't like it. He was married to a pretty little brunette who didn't seem to have fun at the party either. I've compiled a list of all the times Katie has called Tom in the last 3 months, and all the times he has called her. Not a single text message came from him. I assumed that Katie had called Tom this morning. There were a lot of phone calls, but I just assumed. After making a couple of copies of the phone list, I went to Tom Rollins' house. I decided that I had nothing to lose, so I knocked on the door. "John Connor, I was hoping to talk to you. Come in." Damn it, it was an unexpected surprise. "I'm sorry. I'm at a disadvantage here. I know you're married to Tom, but I don't think we've ever met." "My name is Sylvia, but everyone calls me Sly." She held out her hand, and I shook it just out of politeness. "John, what I need to talk to you about is the affair that your wife and my husband are having." Wow, she hit me right in the face again. I didn't expect that either. She seems to know a hell of a lot more than I do. "I'm filing for divorce from Tom, and I'm putting Katie's name in the lawsuit. I have a lot of supporting documents, and I would like to cooperate on several issues. Sylvia, I have no intention of getting you into trouble about this, but I really only found out about it yesterday. I don't have any information that could help you. The only thing I have right now are a few phone logs. Let me take a look. She was really worried about the little I had. I gave her one of the copies I had and told her she could keep it." Sylvia started going through phone logs as an auditor of the tax service. She made notes in magazines and checked the information against the documents she had. She was grinning, and I thought she was going to burst out laughing at any moment. The more she worked on it, the more excited she seemed. Finally, I intervened. Is there any information that you can share with me? Of course. I'm ready to give you everything I have. Here, this is what I've collected over the last 2 weeks. She pushed 3 motel receipts across the table to me. They showed the date, time, and of course, the name of the motel. All 3 were different. All 3 were paid in cash. The stupid ass doesn't understand that I go through all his pockets every night after he goes to bed. I pick up the receipts and he doesn't even notice that they're missing. He lives in his own world. I'm invisible to him. As we talked, she seemed to get more and more furious. I started to worry a little bit about my safety. I hoped she wouldn't be upset with me because I was Katie's husband. The veins in her neck bulged like a television wrestler's. I don't think I've ever seen a woman so furious. She made copies of the motel receipts for me and gave them to me. I have many more receipts and other things if you need them. Oh, wait, let me show you something special. She left and soon returned with a zippered bag. There was a pair of women's panties inside. Do you recognize this? Of course. There was a pair of gray-green bikini panties in the package, which belonged to my wife's set. I took them out of Tom's coat pocket the night of the last corporate party. He was going crazy, rummaging through the closet and the car, trying to find them, but he didn't dare say a word to me. Can I borrow them? Only if you promise to bring them back. Agreed. For the next hour, Sylvia Rollins ranted and raved like a man possessed. I tried to leave several times, but I couldn't. Finally, she said she needed to lie down for a while and gave me the opportunity to leave. When Katie came home, I had dinner ready. I was damn hungry because I missed lunch. My wife was as cool as a cucumber. I understood why I hadn't noticed anything before. I cleared away the dishes and put in a couple of slices of lime pie, her favorite, and some coffee. It was nice and quiet. Katie, can I ask you a question without you getting mad at me? Are you still doing fireplace work? No, it's something else. Okay, go on. Where are the panties that go with this bra? I picked up the gray-green push-up bra that matched the panties Sylvia had given me. I don't know, probably in my dresser. Why the hell are you going through my underwear? Are you turning into some kind of pervert? Could you go get some panties for me? Katie just sat and stared at her pie. There was no way she could get her panties out, and she knew it. I could tell she was getting angry. You know, I just remembered. I threw them away last week. The whole top elastic band came off, and I just didn't want to fix them. They were less than a month old, Katie. You bought them at the mall just 3 weeks ago. How did they wear out so quickly? Now she began to boil. Her lower lip was trembling. Veins bulged in his neck. Her fists were clenched tightly. Damn it, it was like being with Sylvia again. All right, Mr. Know-It-All, will you tell me what happened to my panties? Last week when we were getting ready to go to your company's party, I watched you get dressed. You're wearing this bra and the panties that come with it. I remember thinking how good you look. When we got home from the party, you undressed in the bathroom, but I noticed you weren't wearing any panties. How did you manage to lose your underwear from the moment we left the house to the moment we returned home? I think you're wrong. I really had them when I got home, you just haven't seen them. Good. Then tell me, how did they end up in Tom Rollins' coat pocket? I picked up the bag of panties. Where the hell did you get them? From Tom's wife, Sylvia. Why are you asking? Stop poking your nose where you shouldn't. Nothing is going on between Tom and me. I have no idea where his wife got my panties from. Do you have any other nonsense you want to dump on me? One more thing, Katie. Here is a small questionnaire that I have compiled. I'd like you to fill it out. All I want to know is the date and place where you met other men outside of our marriage. Here, I'll start for you. While Katie was watching, I entered the name of the motel and the date when she and Tom last met. In the next line, I just entered Tom's name and the name of the motel. I just put a date in the next line. Fill this out for me, Katie, and then we'll talk some more. She knew that the information I entered into the form was correct. Katie just stared at the paper, not moving or saying anything. Oh, yes, one more thing, I said, raising my voice. I'm a little angry that you and Tom didn't bother to use any protection. It's disgusting that you cheated on me. You didn't have any remorse about bringing some kind of infection home to me. It's really disgusting. Did any of them bother to protect themselves? Or was it just Tom who didn't do it? No, damn it. It was just Tom. He was the only one who didn't use anything. The room became very quiet. I didn't expect such an outburst, and I don't think Katie thought about what she was saying until it was too late. In her anger, she inadvertently let slip that she had affairs with other guys besides Tom. I just assumed. With a wave of her hand, Katie kicked half off the table and ran out of the kitchen. I heard the bedroom door close and soft crying. I went to a motel for the night. I called in sick at work and said I'd be gone for a few days. I returned Sylvia's panties as promised. This time she didn't say anything and seemed very depressed. I didn't insist and left as soon as I could. I found a small motel that rented rooms with mini kitchens on a weekly basis. Katie wasn't home when I drove by, so I ducked inside and grabbed as much of my stuff as I could. I bought some silverware, plates, and some pans. It took me about an hour to create my new kingdom. I couldn't help thinking that a week ago I had no idea something like this would happen. I started to get out to the car when I noticed Tom Rollins about 5 rooms away from me. He was carrying bags and boxes of things into the room. I had to laugh to myself. Either Sylvia threw him out or he got tired of it and left. It didn't matter, but the results were the same. About that time, Katie's car pulled up. She didn't see me and didn't pay attention to my car. They talked for a while and then went into the room. After about 10 minutes, I decided it was time to go home and get the rest of my stuff. I was sure they would be busy for at least an hour. I packed everything I could into the Honda. I took my computer, cameras, portable TV, all my CDs, and even took my George Foreman. I was turning off my answering machine when there was a knock on the door. "Mr. Connor?" There were 2 policemen at the door. "Yes." "Are you Katie Connor's husband?" "Yes. Is she all right? Something happened?" "I'm sorry to have to tell you this, sir, but your wife is dead." "No, you're wrong. I saw her just 2 hours ago and she was fine." "Where did you see her?" "She was at the Desca Motel on Penn Avenue with Tom Rollins." "Mr. Rollins is dead too." "How?" "They were shot." "Look, I've been here for 2 hours now and I don't even have a gun. Not happening. Take it easy, Mr. Connor. Don't take it personally. We have a shooter." Mrs. Rollins shot them both as they were leaving his room. She discharged her gun at them and then called 911. When we arrived, she was sitting at the door of the room and crying.